DuoTale English.
where every story teaches you English. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to DuoTale English. I am Lena, and I want to start today by asking you something before we even begin. Something simple. When you woke up this morning, what was the first thought in your head?
And I am Marcus, and Lena, I love that you started with a question, because most people never actually think about that. What is the first thought? Is it something you are worried about, something you have to do, something that already feels heavy before the day is even started?
Or was it something gentle, something calm, something that made you feel, okay, today is okay, I am okay?
For me this morning, honestly, it was neither. It was just the alarm, and a deep personal resentment toward the alarm.
A deep personal resentment toward the alarm. I feel that. I feel that in my whole body.
It has done nothing wrong. It is just doing its job, but every morning I take it very personally.
It is a villain. It is a daily villain. Okay, but jokes aside, the first thought of the morning actually matters more than most people realize, and that is connected to today's topic, because today we are talking about positivity, real positivity, not the fake kind.
Oh, the fake kind. Let us address that straight away, because when some people hear the word positivity, they think of someone who never has a bad day, who smiles at everything, who says things like every day is a blessing and actually means it at 7 a.m. on a cold Monday.
The kind of positivity that makes you want to lie down on the floor.
Exactly, and that is not what we are talking about today. We are not here to tell you to be happy all the time, because that is not real, and it is not healthy. Life has hard moments, stressful moments, sad moments, and those deserve to be felt, not smiled through.
What we are talking about is something much quieter and much more powerful, the kind of positivity that does not ignore the hard things, but chooses slowly and deliberately to also notice the good ones, to build small habits that gently tip the balance of your inner world over time towards something warmer.
And before we get into today's story, a warm welcome to everyone who is new here. On DuoTale English, every week we have a real conversation about a real-life topic. We tell a story, we get honest, and we break down the most important vocabulary at the end, so you can use these words and phrases in your own English conversations.
This episode, episode 9, is especially designed for B1 level learners. The conversation is clear and natural, the pace is warm and comfortable, and the topic, positivity, happiness, worry, stress, is something that belongs to everyone, in every language, in every country. Please subscribe if you have not already, and shall we begin?
Let us begin.
So, Marcus, I want to talk about something before the story because I think most people misunderstand what positivity actually is. They think it means always being happy, always being upbeat, always looking on the bright side even when things are genuinely difficult.
And that version of positivity is actually quite damaging, because if you're always performing happiness, you never process the real feelings underneath. You just push them down. And push-down feelings do not disappear, they just wait.
They wait, and then they come out sideways at some unexpected moment, usually at the wrong time to the wrong person.
The feelings that have been pushed down for months suddenly appearing during an argument about who left the dishes in the sink.
Suddenly, it's not about the dishes at all. Okay, so real positivity, what is it?
For me, real positivity is a choice you make again and again, not a feeling that just arrives, but an active, conscious decision to, in the middle of all the stress and worry and uncertainty, also look for what is good, what is working, what is small and beautiful and worth noticing.
It does not mean denying that hard things exist. It means refusing to let the hard things be the only things you see, training your brain slowly to have a wider view, one that includes the difficult and the beautiful.
And the science behind this is actually fascinating. Our brains have what is called a negativity bias, which means, by default, our brains pay attention to negative things than positive ones. It's a survival mechanism. For thousands of years, paying attention to threats kept humans alive.
But we're not running from lions anymore, and yet our brains are still scanning constantly for threats, for problems, for things that could go wrong. And that default setting, without any conscious effort to balance it, can make life feel much heavier than it needs to be.
Positivity is not pretending the lions aren't there. It's also noticing the sunshine, the friend who made you laugh, the cup of tea that was exactly the right temperature.
The cup of tea that was exactly the right temperature is genuinely one of life's great moments. Underrated, completely underrated. Okay, today we're going to explore all of this through the story of someone called Yuki. Yuki is 27 years old. She's a nurse. She works long shifts at a hospital, sometimes 12 hours. She cares deeply about her patients. She's the kind of person who thinks about other people's well-being naturally and automatically.
And Yuki has a problem that has been quietly growing for about 2 years. She worries. A lot. About everything.
Not just big things, small things too. Did I say that wrong in the meeting? Is my colleague annoyed at me? Did I lock the door when I left this morning? What if something goes wrong tomorrow? What if things never get better?
Her brain is constantly running, like a computer with 40 tabs open, and she can't close any of them.
Sound familiar to anyone?
I think it sounds familiar to most people, honestly. That constant low-level hum of worry. It's not dramatic, it's not a crisis, it's just always there, underneath everything.
And Yuki is exhausted, not just physically from the long shifts, but mentally exhausted from carrying all those thoughts all the time. She described it to her friend once as, "My brain never gives me a day off."
My brain never gives me a day off. That is such a heartbreakingly relatable thing to say.
And what makes it harder, Yuki feels guilty about feeling this way because she says to herself, I have a job, I have a home, I have people who love me. I have no right to feel this tired and this anxious. Other people have real problems.
Oh, the comparison of suffering. The my problems are not big enough to be real problems trap.
Which is one of the most unkind things we do to ourselves, because pain is not a competition. Your stress does not become invalid because someone else has more of it. Your tiredness is real. Your worry is real, even when it looks small from the outside.
We do not tell someone with a headache you shouldn't feel pain because other people have broken bones. Pain is pain, worry is worry, and dismissing your own feelings doesn't make them go away. It just makes you feel worse and guilty at the same time.
Exactly. So Yuki carries this quiet, heavy anxiety for a long time, until one evening, after a particularly difficult shift, her older colleague, a woman called Lena, finds her sitting alone in the break room, staring at a cold cup of tea.
A cold cup of tea, the saddest cup of tea.
The very saddest. Lena sits down next to her, and she doesn't immediately try to fix anything. She just sits, for a minute, in silence. And then she says, "Rough day?"
Not what's wrong, not you should think positive, just rough day?
And Yuki says rough everything lately, actually. And then she says something she's never said out loud before. She says, I don't think I know how to stop worrying. I think I've forgotten what it feels like to just be okay.
That's a very honest and very brave thing to say.
Lena listens, and then she says something that stays with Yuki for a long time. She says, you can't stop the worrying by fighting it. Worry is loud. If you fight it, it gets louder. You have to start quietly adding other things alongside it, so that over time, the worry is still there, but it's not the only voice in the room anymore.
You can't stop the worrying by fighting it. You have to add other things alongside it. That's actually a completely different way of thinking about this.
Most people try to eliminate worry, which never works, because you can't just decide to stop worrying, but you can slowly, deliberately start adding positive moments into your life, small ones, real ones, until the ratio begins to shift.
So what does Lena suggest? What does Yuki actually do?
Lena gives her 3 small things, not a whole life overhaul, not a wellness program, just 3 tiny habits. And she says do them every day, quietly, without expecting dramatic results. Just do them and see what happens over time.
Habit 1?
Yuki writes down one thing she's looking forward to that day. Not something big, not a holiday or a special event, something real and small. Today, I'm looking forward to my lunch break. Today, I'm looking forward to calling my mom on the way home. Today, I'm looking forward to the new episode of the show I'm watching.
One thing to look forward to. That's it.
And what this does is it gives her brain something to move toward instead of something to move away from. Instead of starting the day by scanning for problems, she starts it by naming something good, something that's coming, a small light at the end of even the most ordinary tunnel.
The brain is very responsive to direction. If you point it towards something warm first thing in the morning, it tends to look for more warm things throughout the day.
Exactly. Habit 2. At the end of every shift, before she leaves the hospital, Yuki takes 30 seconds and names one moment from the day that was good. Just one. It doesn't have to be significant. The patient who smiled at her, the colleague who brought biscuits to the break room, the moment when she helped someone understand something difficult and watched the relief on their face.
30 seconds, one moment.
And she said, at first, it felt almost impossible because the hard moments from the shift were so loud. A difficult situation, an anxious patient, a moment where she felt helpless. Those were easy to find. But the good moment, she had to look for it. It did not announce itself.
Because of the negativity bias, the brain automatically catalogs the hard things. The good ones need to be actively noticed.
And here is what Yuki discovered. The good moments were always there, every single day. She just had not been looking for them. She had been so focused on what went wrong that she had missed what went right. The noticing, the actual act of looking, changed what she saw.
The noticing changed what she saw. That is profound.
And habit 3. Once a week, Yuki sends a short message to someone in her life just to say, I was thinking of you, or thank you for that thing you said last week, or I'm glad you're my friend.
No special reason, no occasion, just, I thought of you and I wanted to say something.
And this one, this third habit, does something really interesting because it makes other people feel good, obviously, but it also makes Yuki feel good. Because when you actively look for someone to appreciate, you spend time thinking about what you value in the people around you. And that shift in focus from what is stressful to what is meaningful is quietly, genuinely mood-changing.
And I imagine it also changes the relationships because people feel seen, and people who feel seen by you tend to show up for you more, which creates more positive moments, which creates more to be grateful for. It's a cycle, but a good one.
A good cycle, yes, the opposite of the bad cycles we talk about so often. A good one, feeding itself, growing quietly, getting warmer over time.
So 3 months of these 3 tiny habits. Where is Yuki?
Yuki still worries, let's be clear about that. She has not become a different person. She still has hard days. She still has difficult shifts. Her brain still tries to run with 40 tabs open sometimes.
But
the worry is no longer the only voice in the room. There are other voices now, quieter but real. The voice that says, this morning, I'm looking forward to the good coffee from the machine on floor 3. The voice that says, today, a little boy held my hand and said thank you. The voice that says, my friend replied to my message and said it made her whole day better.
And those voices, even small, change the atmosphere inside her head, from one dominated by what might go wrong to one that also notices what is going right, what is already good, what is already enough.
She told Dr. Lena after about 8 weeks, I don't think I'm happier exactly. I think I'm more awake, like I can see more of what's actually there, not just the difficult parts.
More awake. That is honestly a better description of what positivity does than happy. It doesn't make everything magical. It just makes you more awake to what is already there.
And one morning, about 3 months in, Yuki wakes up. The alarm goes off, and her first thought is not, oh no, not, what do I have to worry about today? It's, oh, the good coffee, floor 3. Today is a good coffee day.
The good coffee, floor 3.
And that tiny, small, almost embarrassingly ordinary thought was the moment she knew something had genuinely shifted. Not everything, not dramatically, but something real, something that belonged to her, that she had built, quietly, one small habit at a time.
Lena, do you have a positivity practice, something you actually do?
I do, and it's very simple. Every evening before I sleep, I think of 3 things that happened that day that were good. And I mean small things, not I got a promotion. More like the light through my window this afternoon was really beautiful, or I laughed at something and it was genuine, or I had a good conversation today that left me feeling understood. 3 small things every night.
And on days when it's hard to find 3?
Those days happen, and on those days, I allow myself to count very small things. The shower was warm. I had clean socks. The coffee this morning was good. Because even on the hardest days, those things exist, and naming them isn't about pretending the day wasn't hard, it's about refusing to let the hard part be the only part I take to bed with me.
Refusing to let the hard part be the only part you take to bed with. That's going on the poster, Lena.
It is a very full poster now, Marcus. What about you?
Mine is a little different. I have a very simple rule for stressful moments. When something goes wrong and I feel that immediate spike of anxiety or frustration, I ask myself one question. Will this matter in 5 years?
The 5-year question.
The 5-year question. And most things, honestly, the answer is no. The email that hasn't been replied to, the meeting that didn't go perfectly, the small embarrassing thing I said, in 5 years, completely irrelevant. And once I know it doesn't matter in 5 years, I give myself permission to let it go right now. Not to pretend it didn't happen, just to release it. It doesn't deserve more of my attention than it actually needs.
I love that. And it must help with the things where the answer is yes, where it does matter in 5 years. Because then you know, okay, this one deserves my full attention. This one is worth the energy.
Exactly. It helps you sort what deserves energy and what doesn't, because stress is not selective. It treats a missing sock and a serious problem with equal urgency, and that's exhausting. The 5-year question helps you prioritize.
Stress is not selective. It treats a missing sock and a serious problem with equal urgency. Marcus, that is the poster line of this entire episode.
I'm on a roll today.
You really are. Okay, vocabulary time.
Today's vocabulary is all about emotions, positivity, worry, stress, and mental well-being. These are B1 level phrases that you'll hear constantly in real English conversations about how people feel and how they manage their inner lives.
First, look on the bright side. This is one of the most common English expressions for positivity. It means to focus on the positive aspects of a difficult situation. For example, I know the trip got canceled, but look on the bright side. You can use the money for something else. Or, even in the hardest situations, try to look on the bright side. There's almost always one.
Second, feel overwhelmed. To feel overwhelmed means to feel like there's too much happening at once, too many responsibilities, emotions, or problems, and you can't manage them all. For example, she felt overwhelmed with everything she had to do this week. Or, when you feel overwhelmed, the best first step is usually just to write everything down. Get it out of your head onto paper.
Third, let it go. To let something go means to stop holding on to a negative feeling, a resentment, or a worry, and allow yourself to move forward. For example, I was angry about what he said for days, but eventually I just had to let it go. Or, letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care more about your own peace than about the thing that hurt you.
Fourth, silver lining. A silver lining is the positive or hopeful aspect of a bad situation. It comes from the expression, every cloud has a silver lining. For example, losing that job was painful, but the silver lining was that it pushed me to start my own project. Or, I'm still looking for the silver lining in this situation, but I know it's there somewhere.
Fifth, stressed out. To be stressed out means to be in a state of mental or emotional pressure, feeling anxious, tense, or overwhelmed by demands or problems. For example, I've been so stressed out this week, I haven't slept properly in days. Or, when I'm stressed out, I go for a walk. It helps more than anything else.
Sixth, count your blessings. To count your blessings means to think about all the good things you have and feel grateful for them, rather than focusing on what you lack or what has gone wrong. For example, I know things are difficult right now, but try to count your blessings. There's still a lot that is good. Or, counting your blessings every day is one of the simplest and most powerful habits for mental well-being.
And the last one, Peace of mind. Peace of mind is a feeling of being calm, safe, and free from worry. It means your mind is quiet, at rest, not troubled. For example, I made the change because I needed peace of mind, knowing I'd done the right thing. Or, money is nice, but peace of mind is priceless.
7 warm and beautiful phrases. And I want you to notice, many of these are idioms. Natural spoken English is full of idioms, expressions that don't mean exactly what the words say literally. Silver lining, count your blessings, look on the bright side. These are the phrases that make your English sound truly natural and truly fluent.
Okay, everyone, we're at the end of episode 9 of DuoTale English, and I want to say this one felt very gentle to me, very kind, like a warm conversation with someone who actually cares.
That's what we always try to make. Every episode, a warm conversation with someone who actually cares. And today, through Yuki's story, we learned that positivity is not about being endlessly happy. It's about being more awake, more willing to notice the good that is already there, alongside the heart, not instead of it.
Yuki's 3 small habits: one thing to look forward to every morning, one good moment from the day before you leave, one message of appreciation to someone a week. Small, real, doable, and over time, quietly life-changing.
And remember, you can't stop the worry by fighting it. You add light, slowly, steadily, until the worry is still there, but it's not the only voice in the room anymore.
Our question of the day: what is one small thing from today that was good? Just one. It can be tiny. Write it in the comments in English right now, before you close this video. It will take 30 seconds, and it might be the beginning of something.
We're going to read every single one, and we're going to feel genuinely warm reading them, because good things deserve to be said out loud, even small ones, especially small ones.
Please subscribe to DuoTale English. Share this episode with someone who needs a little more warmth in their day today. And use today's vocabulary. Look on the bright side, count your blessings, find the silver lining in your comment if you can.
New episode every week, built with care, built with you in mind. Thank you for being here, genuinely. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Take care of yourselves. And remember, the good things are already there. You just have to look. See you next week. Bye, Marcus.
Bye, Lena. And everyone, go find your good coffee. Floor 3. Whatever your floor 3 is, go find it. Bye.